to my channel. Today I'm excited to be doing a makeup tutorial for those who are attending a summer wedding. So if you are a wedding guest and you have no idea how to do your makeup for this summer, just keep watching. I'm explaining step by step how to achieve the look that I have. I think it's really beautiful without being too over the top, and it's definitely something that you'll be able to recreate. So like I said, to see how I created this look, just keep watching. Alright, so we're all zoomed in, so let's get started. So first I'm going to be using the Morphe 25B Bronzed Mocha palette. I'm obsessed with this palette. I actually purchased it for one of my best friends, and then I was like, wait, I need this for myself too. So it's definitely, I think it's a little bit more cooler tones, but there are some warmer tones in here. So we're going to be starting off with the shade called Shy, and then I'm going to follow it with Waffle. So taking a Morphe M330 blending brush, you guys know this is like my go-to brush. I'm taking that shade Shy, and I'm just going to put that back and forth in windshield wiper motions in the crease, moving it all the way up towards the brow. And I actually already primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the original shade. I love that stuff. I cannot live without it. I have a hard time with my eyelids getting oily throughout the day, and then my eyeshadow creases. So this prevents that from happening, and that's why I swear by it. So now I'm taking the shade Waffle. It's just a little bit darker, like I said, and doing the same thing where we're going in the crease and then working up towards the brow. And as I always say, I like to have a gradient effect. So since this one's a little bit darker, I'm gonna go back and forth but not take it quite as high as I did the first shade. Now I'm going in with a little bit darker shade, and this one is called Truth. And for this one, I'm going to be using the Morphe M139 brush. It's like one where it kind of starts to get a little bit darker. You're gonna notice a little bit of a change in the color. This one, we're gonna concentrate more on the crease, only working about halfway up to the brow, making sure that outer corner is really good. And I just really love this palette. It's great because there's such a range of shades that you can really create daytime look, nighttime looks, obviously wedding looks, so there's a ton of options. So now we're going a little bit darker. Again, this is the shade Center. And that's what I really love about this palette, is there's such a range of browns and nudish colors. So you can really build your eyeshadow. So this one I'm just really doing a very light pressure because it is darker, and I'm just once again blending, but very lightly. That's the thing too, is if you want to use a little bit of a darker color but you're scared, just don't use as much pressure when you're holding the brush. So I'm holding the brush more towards the end, and that's making sure that I don't get too much product and then not be able to recover, if that makes sense. I feel like when you're using really dark colors, we've all been there where you put too much on and then you're like, great, I had to start over. So that's my tip to make sure that doesn't happen to you, is just to hold the brush more towards the end so you don't apply too much pressure. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Most, and I'm going to be using a Luxie 231 small tapered blending brush. So now what I'm doing is essentially the tape trick, except I'm going to call it the Kleenex trick, or the K trick, because I hate like taking the tape and pulling it off. I feel like it's giving me wrinkles. So instead I'm going to use Kleenex. So take a piece of Kleenex and fold it, crisp line, and you're just going to hold it. With the tape trick, you obviously can just leave it and you have both hands free to do whatever. But this just makes me feel a little bit better. Alright, so Kleenex. And you just want to hold this so you get that nice crisp angle. So it depends how steep you want this to be when you're determining like how to set the Kleenex. So I'm going to grab that color, Most, on my brush, and I'm going to pop it in the outer V of the eye. And this is just going to darken things up a little bit. And you can carry it in a little bit. So you can see that by doing that, how I have that really crisp line. And now it's actually by doing this, you make, like by doing the kind of the winged look, the cat eye, you make your eye area look bigger than it actually is, which is what I really like. So you want to make sure that the other eye, when you do it, has like the same angle for like the crisp edge. So once again, concentrating in that outer corner, going back and forth, pulling it inward a little bit, but not too much. Sorry, it's really loud in the background, the noise. But now I just want to go a little bit darker, but really only in the outer corner. So to do that, I'm going to be using the shade Space, which is right here in the bottom of the palette. And so I'm going to be using a Morphe M222 brush. Once again, just putting the Kleenex back on here. Okay, and then just kind of popping this in that outer corner very, very carefully. You can tell it gets intense really fast. I like to pop it on with that and then go back to that Luxie brush that I just used and kind of blend it all out. And you can see that we're still a little bit messy up here. I'm gonna blend that out once I'm done with the other eye. Alright, so to blend that all out along, like as we're moving up this way, I'm just going to go back into the shade Waffle and blend upward. So just pop it right here with that Morphe M330 blending brush that we first started out with. Blend upwards. Do the same thing on the other eye. Take it, blend upwards. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with one other shade we've already used, back with my Morphe M139 brush, back into the shade Truth, which was this one up top, and I'm just going to pop this right above. And so like I said, sometimes I'm not perfect with doing this, and so that's why I have to go back and blend a little bit. So now comes the fun part. I'm going to be using the Pixi plus Dulce Candy Cafe Con Dulce palette, and I'm gonna go in with this top middle shade right here, just on my finger. Because with shimmery shades like this, I always feel that the best way to get the most pigment is to just use your finger. Just using my finger to pop it on there. And now I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of the shade Center, just to blend everything out, because when you're using these shimmery shades, they sometimes get a little bit too high. So I just go back in with the shade Center on a small tapered blending brush to just blend that out. So I'm just going right above where I put the gold to blend everything out. Alright, so I popped on some mascara on my upper lashes, and now I'm using a Morphe M410 brush and going back into the shade, where is it at? Truth. And I'm going to pop this along the lower lash line. I personally really like to add a little bit of color to the lower lash line because I feel like it really pulls a look together. And it's not too much, like it's not too intense, not gonna have raccoon eyes, but I just think it's just enough. All right, so now it's time for some lower lash line liner as well as mascara. So I'm actually using the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade 0. I've never tried this before. I've tried some of the other 24/7 liners, but I've never used the black one for my under eyes. So let's see how it goes. I have to kind of like place my hand here just to stabilize. And I don't want too much because I obviously don't want to look like I've been punched or anything. This really does glide on super well. I'm so used to using the NARS Larger Than Life eyeliner, but this one seems like it might glide a little bit better. Okay, so eyeliner is on. Now for mascara. So I'm just using a Maybelline mascara. This is actually the Lash Sensational. And I actually really like this mascara. I don't like to spend a ton of money on mascara because one, I go through it pretty fast, and two, I don't think there's like that much of a difference between mascara at the drugstore versus like high end. Alright, so now it's time to pop on some lashes, which I literally have such a hard time doing on camera, so I'm going to do it off camera and be right back. Alright, so I popped on my lashes. So now the only thing left for the eyes is adding a little bit of eyeliner. Now you could do a winged liner, which is usually what I do, but today I'm not really feeling it. And especially for like the wedding look, I want to still, because it's already kind of dark out here in the outer corner with the smoky eye, I want to keep the liner pretty minimal. So I'm just going to apply it to the upper lash line, not do a wing, just to cover up the lash band a little bit. So I'm using the Mary Kay gel eyeliner and a Morphe M160-1/8 brush. And this is a gel eyeliner, like I said. I prefer gel. I just can't get into the liquid line. Okay, so we're just going to apply that right along the lash line. Just a little bit. So you can see, I think it makes a little bit of difference to how your eyes look, and I actually really like it. Alright, so now the eyes are done, so I'm just going to apply some bronzer to finish up the face. Well, we got a couple more steps, but you know what I mean. Okay. So this is the Pixi bronzer it's actually their beauty bronzer in the shade Summertime, which is totally appropriate for a summer wedding, right? And apply some up here to the forehead a little bit, just so I kind of overall have a little bit warmer of a look since I'm so pale. And you can see, like, by applying it like where I did on the sides of my face, it really makes my face look more narrow. Alright, so then using another product by Pixi, this is the Pixi Glowy Powder in the shade Rome Rose. It looks a little intimidating in the pan, but once you put it on, it's just so pretty. It's that perfect rosy color. And I'm using a Real Techniques blush brush to apply this to the apples and then sweeping back a little bit, just so it kind of blends into where I put the bronzer a little bit. And I like to put a little bit extra blush at the start of the day, just because throughout the day my blush kind of fades off. Okay, so now we need some highlight, of course. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I filled in my brows off camera with the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Taupe. In the description bar down below, I will link my video on how I fill in my brows for you guys. So to do my highlight, I'm using the Morphe M510 brush. I never used to have a specific brush for highlighter, but you guys, this brush has been a life changer. And I'm using the Mary Luminizer by the Balm Cosmetics to highlight. This is like my holy grail highlighter. So just applying some right there to the nose for an extra little glow. And then the cheekbones, like always. I like to do a heavy highlight, so I really look glowing, especially for summer too. Like, it's a summer wedding, you want to look glowy because in the summer you want to have that glow anyway, so you can get away with a little extra highlight. So just moving back and forth, going about to like mid-cheek inward. You can see it's just a really pretty highlight. Alright, so I quickly curled my hair because obviously you don't want your hair up in a crazy messy bun for a wedding. And now I just am putting on a little bit more gloss. I jumped the gun and had to put a little bit on. And this is the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine Gloss in the shade Backtalk. Urban Decay has a bunch of products that are like the shade Backtalk, and I'm pretty much obsessed with all of them. But this gloss is really, really good. It's minty. It's just a really pretty pinky purpley kind of color, but not too pink or purple. So I absolutely love it. And that's the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'm excited to get back into the YouTube game. Things are just crazy because I'm a grad student, so I don't always have time to film videos, but I always love filming them, so I'm glad that I finally had some time. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked this video and want to see more occasional type of makeup tutorials. So obviously this one was makeup to wear to a wedding as a guest for a wedding. But yeah, let me know what occasions you want to see me do makeup tutorials for. Just leave those comments down below. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. It's free. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.